funny. Hello, I'm Eric from the Elk Ridge branch. It's getting a little cold outside, so I have my coat on, my winter sweater. So a nice project to take on over the winter is caulking. You could be caulking around the exterior of your house, around your windows, around your doors. On the interior, if you're taking on a painting project, you probably should caulk around your baseboards, around your trim around your windows and things. It gives your paint a nice finished look. The other thing you could do is caulk around your tub. Sometimes that caulk gets dry rotted and mildewy, so it's good to replace that and keep the water from getting underneath your tub. So first things first, caulk. We have some great resources you can read. I personally like the American Handyman magazine, which you can get on RB Digital. They have nice articles, nice illustrations, and you can see that even though we're not open. You can't look at the actual magazine. You can look at a pretty good facsimile of it on there. And then we also have Gale Home Improvement Database. So if you have any trouble getting any of those, please call us or contact us via chat. The first things first, because I've read about caulk, is I would recommend, you don't have to buy the type I'm using right here, but a caulk, you don't need 100% silicone. Some people contend now and would agree with this because silicone caulk is more expensive. It's also harder to work with. So just get yourself something that contains silicone, no matter what, interior, exterior, around the tub or whatever you're using, it should be just fine. The second thing is the way to apply the caulk. There are squeeze tubes, and they can be pretty easy to work with, but if you need to apply a fair amount of caulk, the best way to do it is to get yourself a caulk gun. We don't have these to lend right now. Hopefully we will in the future, but if you have to buy one, you could probably spend $10 to get yourself a decent one. Don't buy the cheapest one. You don't need the most expensive either, but just buy something maybe in between. I have two here from probably two big box retailers that you recognize based on the color scheme. Both of these would be more than sufficient and very nice. This one's mine. You can see it's well used, and I spill a lot of caulk myself, so don't feel bad if you do that. This one is a newer model, which is technically a no drip, and that's an important thing. And it works pretty well, so we'll take a look at both of these and demonstrate them for you. So the places you need to caulk. The thing we won't go over here is how to remove caulk. That is unfortunately a very tedious project, can be a difficult project. A lot of people have a lot of different ideas on how to do it. Some people treat it with a chemical you can buy. Some people heat it up and pull it out. Some people just scrape it and pull it all out. But whatever your method, you can look that up, read about it. Try your best to get as much of it as you can out there because it's not a good idea to put new caulk on old caulk. So try to get as much as you can out. Tools, as I said, you can pull some out with some needle nose pliers, scraper. Just get down there and scrape it out. Hopefully you'll be able to get some of it and then just pull a whole line of it out there and it'll come out pretty easily. So do your best. Not fun, but hopefully it should be worth it. As I said, caulk guns, important. Basic, before we get the close-up, how caulk guns work. This one is really nice because it has a release here. So if I'm this way, I'm engaged, and I'm pumping caulk out, and I can release it and pull it away so that the caulk doesn't continue to drip out of the end. This guy right here is it's a tool for puncturing. So if your caulk has a little seal in there, you need to puncture that before you start pumping the caulk out. As a young person, I made the mistake. I had the caulk all loaded in there. I didn't puncture it because I didn't realize it. I kept pumping and pumping until nothing came out, and then the caulk came out of the back. So I don't want that to happen to you. That's why you're watching this video. I think you'll be far better off than I was. So let's get a close-up now. All right. So let's get down to the things we need in the close-up here. What I highly recommend you do is build something very simple like this. I just took a couple pieces of plywood scrap and put them together. I did put a little piece of cardboard here in the seam just to make the gap a little wider so you can see it. And it would be really helpful to practice before you try it on your tub. That way you're not making a lot of mistakes. Make a lot of mistakes here and then throw it away and you'll be all good. So first we'll go with brand X. Before we do that though, as I said, things that we'll need: caulk gun, you need a utility knife, paper towel or cloth, tube of caulk, and then a cup of water. And you'll see why all that is relevant in a second. But first things first, we're going to get the tube of caulk Unfortunately, this is our second take, so we lost the top already, but that's all right, all the same. So when you get a tube of caulk here, if you look very closely, you're going to have to get your reading spectacles on. There are little marks there that have the measurements. So they'll say 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 an inch there. So what you need to do is look at the gap that you have here. The gap that you have here and say, okay, well, how big is that? You can get very precise, try to measure that, and then cut where you want. You can also eyeball it. It takes a little practice, but you can figure that out. And so, and the other thing that's important here is don't overdo it. I was saying that I don't like to use the piece in the caulk because I like to use a utility knife, and one of the secrets is, and we'll make this a little bit bigger, is you cut it at about a 45. Takes a little effort there, but that's all right. So then you cut it at about a 45. You don't need to get your protractor out, just eyeball it pretty good, and then that is going to go that angle to help you. It comes out a little easier, so the caulk will be running this way. And that might be a little big, but it'll be all right. And always keep in mind that start small because you can always take more off. You can't put it back in, obviously. So if you're cutting way down here, you're going to have a ton of caulk coming out, and it's going to be a real mess. And I don't want that to happen to you. So let us put the caulk into the caulk gun, and as I said, remember, it's going to be like this. This is engaged, and then we will start caulking. Slowly, no need to be in a rush. So that's not bad. This is the no drip model, so a little bit of a drip, but that's not too bad. I'll still take it out because it will push it a little bit, and this is why you have your towel handy, because you always want to keep the tip of the tube of caulk clean for when you do your next one. So next thing is, that looks pretty good. It covered the gap up. Let's put this down. And what we do with our water, it gets a little difficult in the wintertime, but we keep our finger wet. I've seen some people do it by licking it, but I wouldn't recommend that. I don't think you want to get caulk near your mouth. So you get a wet finger, and then you're going to run your finger over here, and it takes a little practice. Not too heavy, not too light, and you're going to kind of smooth it on out. And that actually looks pretty good. And then, so if this were something you'd paint, and then you could always go back, get it a little bit better there, and that's that. You don't want to, it's one of those things, you keep doing it, you're going to end up messing it up. So try to do it once or twice, and then be happy with what you have. Or, if you're not happy with what you have, excellent segue by me. As soon as you put caulk down, if it doesn't look good, get it out of there. Use the water, use the towel, remove it. The sooner you do it, the easier it is to get out. If it's dry, as we were talking about removing caulk before, it becomes it's really difficult to get rid of caulk. But now, it's all good. So you can take dry towel, get it on out. We're going to do this again with the other gun too. So you'll just remove it. Get some water cleanup, and if you messed up, you do it all over again. But you won't mess up because you will have practiced, you will have watched this video, and you will be all good. So all right, let's take a look at the next one. Okay, so let's look at the competitor's brand. As I said, this one's a little different. It has a spot here where you can engage it. So that means that I'm engaged now. We're going to try it out here. And I cleaned out this caulk. I could have probably done a better job, but for our purposes, it's fine. So it's pretty much out of there. So let's see how this brand works. Pretty good. A little extra pump. All right, and then you'll see caulk coming out. I disengage it so the caulk stops. So that's the problem. I have actually done these demonstrations a fair amount of times, in a fair amount of venues, and a woman said to me, so I hope, if she's watching, I hope she doesn't mind me telling this story, but a woman said to me that she was caulking, and she couldn't figure out how to stop the caulk from coming out, and so she didn't know what to do, so she threw the caulk gun out into the yard because caulk was going everywhere. So I don't want that to happen to you. So remember, get a no drip, or make sure you back off the caulk so it stops coming out, and then you're all good. So we got our bead down there. Let's smooth it over again. Wet finger. And this actually looks pretty good. I would be satisfied with both those jobs. Caulk does shrink. Keep that in mind. So if this were like baseboard or something, you could always use the little excess to fill in some nail holes or something. That's up to you. One last thing about this is that in theory, on the back of caulk, and generally, you could probably do it, but it recommends that if your gap is any larger than a ½ inch, you need to put something behind. They'll call it a backer, something behind there. So you shouldn't be caulking anything that's really wide. Eventually, it just doesn't work out. But small gaps, perfect. And that looks great. So there we go. Caulking accomplished. All right. So I hope you feel a lot more confident about caulking. I wish you a lot of success in your winter projects involving caulk and anything else. I hope you enjoyed our video today. I really appreciate you watching. I really thank you for continuing to support the Howard County Library. I hope you enjoyed my dogs coming in and out of the screen. I didn't realize it until I looked back at it, but I kind of like it. So thank you guys very much. Best of luck.